Calling, singing together. Singing together. Are you receiving me? Proceed to page 10. Repeat, page 10 for immediate communication.
Communication. Communication. Way back long ago, men sent messages, beating out rhythms on drums and bows. Others blew shells to sound like trumpets or carved out signals on trees or stones. Trying to get a message through to you. Trying to get a message through. Trying to get a message through to you. Are you listening?
Hello.
Hello.
In some parts of the world, there are complicated drum languages which can really speak. They use two drums to show high and low speech sounds.
We're going to use two drums now, but in a different way, to keep us in time as we say some of the words of this song.
Look at verse 2. We'll start on the second line. Once when Indian tribes in America...
Here's our drum beat. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Once when Indian tribes in America sent smoke signals across their land, Blackfoot, Cherokee, Sioux and Apache could tell when a meeting of the tribe was planned. Be careful with those names of tribes, Blackfoot, Cherokee, Sioux and Apache. Let's sing verse 2 now, starting from the second line. Here's your note. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Once when Indian tribes in America sent smoke signals across their land, Blackfoot, Cherokee, Sioux and Apache could tell when a meeting of the tribe was planned.
Verse 3 is all about sending messages at sea. Let's say those words now from the second line again. Sailors crossing the sea. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sailors crossing the sea put flags out, different colours upon the mast. Semaphore signals, then Morse code, and emergency flares to call help fast. And now we'll sing that part too. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sailors crossing the sea put flags out, different colours upon the mast. Semaphore signals, then Morse code, and emergency flares to call help fast.
OK, let's put those three verses together. You can hum in bars 6 and 8. It goes the first time and the second.
Are you sitting up, ready for the first three verses? Here comes the introduction.
Communication. Communication. Way back long ago, men sent messages, beating out rhythms on drums and bones. Others blew shells to sound like trumpets or carved out signals on trees or stones. Trying to get a message through to you. Trying to get a message through. Trying to get a message through to you. Are you listening? Communication. Communication. Once when Indian tribes in America sent smoke signals across their land, Blackfoot, Cherokee, Sioux and Apache could tell when a meeting of the tribe was planned. Trying to get a message through to you. Trying to get a message through. Trying to get a message through to you. Are you listening? Communication. Communication. Sailors crossing the sea put flags out,
lots of ways of communicating that aren't mentioned in that song. I wonder how many you can think of. Perhaps you could put them together in another verse.
And what about non-verbal communication, which doesn't rely on words? Groaning, for example.
Ghosts are very frightening.
On the back page is a picture of a haunted house. You can try making up some haunted house music. Use your voices and anything else you need to make the right sounds, but don't include any words. Try and make it full of suspense. To start you off, here are some ideas. Our next song is a new one. It's on page 22, Winter Tales. You can see it has quite a long introduction before you start singing. Follow the tune of that introduction.
So the verse begins after that in bar 8. Follow from there.
Tell me the tale of the wandering man who searched for fuel in a wintry wood, and the ice and the hunger made him bleed.
Now sing it with us. After 4. 3, 4.
Tell me the tale of the wandering man who searched for fuel in a wintry wood, and the ice and the hunger made him bleed.
The next 4 bars go like this.
Tell me the tale of the wandering man who met a saint in time of need.
Your turn now. 3, 4.
Tell me the tale of the wandering man who met a saint in time of need.
The next part begins the same as that, and then changes.
Tell me the tale as we sit by the fire and watch the flames on a dark December night.
Try that part too. 3, 4.
Tell me the tale as we sit by the fire and watch the flames on a dark December night.
Let's put those 3 sections together from bar 8. Ready? 3, 4.
Tell me the tale of the wandering man who searched for fuel in a wintry wood, and the ice and the hunger made him bleed. Tell me the tale of the wandering man who met a saint in time of need. Tell me the tale as we sit by the fire and watch the flames on a dark December night.
And what follows that is like a chorus. Listen.
Old winter tales, cold winter tales, draw near to the Yule log, for the
careful of those leaps in Cold Winter Tales. It goes do, 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 so.
Try from Old Winter Tales. It's a higher phrase, so take a good breath. Breathe. 3, 4.
Old winter tales, old winter tales, draw near to the Yule log for the old winter tales.
Right, back to the beginning now, and after the introduction we'll sing all the way through. At the end, listen to the rounding off music, the coda.
Tell me the tale of the wandering man who searched for fuel in a wintry wood, and the ice and the hunger made him bleed. Tell me the tale of the wandering man who met a saint in time of need. Tell me the tale as we sit by the fire and watch the flames on a dark December night. Old winter tales, draw near to the Yule log for the old winter tales.
The winter tale in that verse is a familiar Christmas story. I wonder if you recognised it. Now here's something else you might recognise. We're back on page 2 with Whip Jamboree. Page 2. Let's sing verses 1 and 2 and remember to be ready for your first note.
And now, my lads,
Be of good cheer, for the Irish land will soon draw near. In a few days more we'll sight Cape Clear. Oh, Jenny, get your oat cake done. Whip, jamboree, oh, you pigtail sailor, hanging down behind. Whip, jamboree, oh, Jenny, get your oat cake done. And now the clear it is in sight. We'll be off Holyhead by tomorrow night, and we'll shape our course for the old rock light. Oh, Jenny, get your oat cake done. Whip, jamboree, oh, you pigtail sailor, hanging down behind. Whip, jamboree, oh, Jenny, get your oat cake done.
In verse 3, our ship's reached Holyhead. We're near the end of our journey, and we've used up all our rations of salt beef and salt bread.
And in verse 4, we're sailing up the River Mersey, and we've packed up all the hammocks and locked all the chests ready to dock.
There are 1 or 2 lines in these verses where you need to watch the rhythm. Verse 3 starts, "And now, my boys, we're off Holyhead." You say that now. 1, 2.
And
Now, my boys, we're off Holyhead.
listen to the third line of that verse, and then sing it straight away. One man in the chains for to heave the lead.
One man in the chains for to heave the lead.
OK, let's sing verse 3 now. Straight in. 1, 2.
And now, my boys, we're off Holyhead. No more salt beef, no more salt bread. One man in the chains for to heave the lead. Oh, Jenny, get your oat cake done.
To practice verse 4, we'll say the words with a crescendo. That means we start quietly and gradually get louder. 1, 2.
And now, my lads, we're round the rock, all hamlets lashed and chests all locked. We'll haul her into Waterloo dock. Oh, Jenny, get your oat cake done.
Aho, me hearties! Hoist the mainsail and off we go with the whole song. 4 verses.
And now, my lads, be of good cheer, for the Irish land will soon draw near. In a few days more we'll sight Cape Clear. Oh, Jenny, get your oat cake done. Whip, Jamboree, oh, you big-tailed sailor, hanging down behind. Whip, Jamboree, oh, Jenny, get your oat cake done. And now, Cape Clear it is in sight. We'll be off Holyhead by tomorrow night, and we'll shape our course for the old rock light. Oh, Jenny, get your oat cake done. Whip, Jamboree, oh, you big-tailed sailor, hanging down behind. Whip, Jamboree, oh, Jenny, get your oat cake done. And now, my boys, we're off Holyhead. No more salt beef, no more salt bread. One man in the chains for to leave the lead. Oh, Jenny, get your oat cake done. Whip, Jamboree, oh, you big-tailed sailor, hanging down behind. Whip, Jamboree, oh, Jenny, get your oat cake done. And now, my lads, we'll round the rock, all hammers slashed and chests all locked. We'll haul her into Waterloo dock. Oh, Jenny, get your oat cake done. Whip, Jamboree, oh, you big-tailed sailor, hanging down behind. Whip, Jamboree, oh, Jenny, get your oat cake done.
I'm happy to say we've arrived safely back on dry land.
And it's nearly time to say goodbye to all you shipmates. But what's that sound I hear? Is it the wind in the rigging? Or is it...
Ghosts are very frightening, and they are spooky too. I hear one groaning, do 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 do. Ghosts are very frightening, and they are very frightening, and they are very frightening, and they are very frightening, and
Hello.
Hi.
We start on page 16, Copper Colin, ready for bonfire night. Join in the chorus and verse 1.
We call a copper calling, copper calling, copper calling. We call a copper calling for bonfire night. The first to come in is a collier, you see, with his pick and his shovel all ready to dig. He digs it and picks it and then it does fall, and that is the way that we gather copper.
After the collier in verse 1, we meet some other characters in verses 2 and 3.
It's a sailor in verse 2. Follow the words.
The next to come in is a sailor, you see, with a bunch of blue ribbons tied under his knee. He's travelled through England, through France and through Spain, and now he's returned to old England again.
Now you sing it with us. 1, 2.
The next to come in is a sailor, you see, with a bunch of blue ribbons tied under his knee. He's travelled through England, through France and through Spain, and now he's returned to
Then in verse 3 we meet a miser. Listen. The last to come in is a miser, you see. He's a sack on his back and a patch on his eye. He's a weary old fellow and he wears a pigtail, and all his delight is in drinking strong ale. Your turn to sing verse 3. 1, 2. The last to come in is a miser, you see. He's a sack on his back and a patch on his eye. He's a weary old fellow and he wears a pigtail, and all his delight is in drinking strong ale.
You can easily make this song longer by adding your own verses about other people.
You could choose anyone you like. A postman, a dancer, a painter.
Even Guy Fawkes. Now find the words of verse 4.
And down in yon cellar there's plenty of bars. Baby, take my stockings and part of my clothes. I'll get a sharp knife and we'll cut their heads off, and we'll have a good supper of bugs, eggs and broth.
Ugh, that's not how I like to spend bonfire night. I'd rather have a baked potato.
Well, we're going to sing the whole song now. Remember to swing the rhythm along and keep those quicker notes in the chorus steady. Cobber-colin, cobber-colin. Are you ready?
We come a cobber-calling, cobber-calling, cobber-calling. We come a cobber-calling for bonfire night.
The first to come in is a collier, you see, with his pick and his shovel all ready to dig. He digs it and picks it and then it does fall, and that is the way that we gather cocoa.
We come a cobber-calling, cobber-calling, cobber-calling. We come a cobber-calling for bonfire night. The next to come in is a sailor, you see, with a bunch of blue ribbon tied under his knee. He's travelled through England, through France and through Spain, and now he's returned to old England again. We come a cobber-calling, cobber-calling, cobber-calling. We come a cobber-calling for bonfire night.
The last to come in is a miser, you see. He's a sack on his back and a patch on his eye. He's a weary old fellow and he wears a pigtail, and all his delight is in drinking strong ale. We come a cobber-calling, cobber-calling, cobber-calling. We come a cobber-calling for bonfire night.
And down in yon cellar there's plenty of bugs. They've eaten my stockings and part of my clothes. I'll get a sharp knife and we'll cut their heads off, and we'll have a good supper of bugs, eggs and broth.
That's enough of those bugs. It's time to take a ride now on page 18.
With fresh air blowing in our faces, the countryside all around, and a new song. Sleigh bells. Follow the introduction and verse 1.
Frost in the air, snow on the ground. Horses are trotting along, jingling sleigh bells sound.
Those 3 notes in bar 6 are our cue to sing.
Frost.
Listen to verse 1 again and follow the shape of the tune carefully, as though you're drawing a map of where it goes up and down. Here's the introduction.
Frost in the air, snow on the ground. Horses are trotting along, jingling sleigh bells sound.
Try singing verse 1 now. 1, 2.
Frost in the air, snow on the ground. Horses are trotting along, jingling sleigh bells sound.
bar 15, where the last note starts. Can you tell how long that note is? How many beats?
Well, it's a minim, which lasts 2 beats, but it's tied over to 2 other minims in bars 16 and 17. So altogether, it lasts 6 beats.
So the end of the word, the D of sound, goes at the beginning of the next bar. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, D. With that triangle note in bar 18.
Sing verse 1 again and see if you can make that note exactly the right length.
And then listen. We'll carry on into verse 2.
Frost in the air, snow on the ground, horses are trotting and the jingling sleigh bells
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, D.
covering the fields, carpet of white, sun in the wintry sky is shining clear and bright.
Here comes verse 2 again. Join in.
Covering the fields, carpet of white, sun in the wintry skies, shining clear and bright.
At the bottom of page 19, there's a rhythm round based on this song. You can speak the words,
Or you can play it on percussion. We're going to play it as a round now on 4 different percussion instruments. Can you recognise them? Well, the first instrument was the guiro. Then we heard the drum, a bongo drum. After that came the tambourine. And the last one was the claves.
We'll go back to the song now and sing verses 1 and 2.
Frost in the air, snow on the ground, horses are trotting and the jingling sleigh bells sound.
Covering the fields, carpet of white, sun in the wintry sky is shining clear and bright. Now a change of mood with our second new song today, on page 25. It's a lullaby carol from Scotland called Balulami. Follow verse 1.
This day to you is born a child of Mary being the Virgin One. God's blessed and so lovely and bright, shall now rejoice both heart and mind. Balulami.
To learn this, we'll sing a Follow My Leader, so listen to each phrase and then repeat it.
This day to you is born a child. This day to you is born a child of Mary being the Virgin One. Of Mary being the Virgin
It's a very flowing tune, and you often have to sing more than one note to a word or syllable. In the first line, for instance, this day to you is born a child. Try putting the whole verse together. I'll count you in. 1, 2.
This day to you is born a child of Mary being the Virgin Mother. The blessed and so loving and kind shall now rejoice both heart and mind. Balulami.
Find bar 10 again. The interval, or distance, between mild and that is quite awkward. Mild that. We'll practice that interval by singing it twice over. Ready, and mild that, mild that. Let's sing verse 1 all through again. Remember to take a good breath. 1, 2.
This day to you is born a child of Mary being the Virgin Mother. The blessed and so loving and kind shall now rejoice both heart and mind. Balulami.
That brings us to our last song, Communication, on page 10. We'll start by singing verses 2 and 3. So find the words of verse 2.
Communication, communication. Once when Indian tribes in America sent smoke signals across their land, Blackfoot, Cherokee, Sioux, and Apache could tell when the meeting of the tribe was planned. Trying to get a message through to you. Trying to get a message through. Trying to get a message through to you. Are you listening? Communication. Communication. Sailors crossing the sea put flags up, different colors upon the mast. Semaphore signals, then Morse code and emergency flares to call help fast. Trying to get a message through to you. Trying to get a message through. Trying to get a message through to you. Are you listening?
Verse 4 is all about more recent ways of communicating, new technology. Here's how the rhythm fits from the second line of verse 4.
New technology helps us communicate. Messages travel at the speed of light. TV, radio, teletext, car phone carry ideas in sound and sight.
Now you sing that. Ready? 3, 4.
New technology helps us communicate. Messages travel at the speed of light. TV, radio, teletext, car phone carry ideas in sound and sight.
So we can finish the programme with a performance of the whole song. Of course, all those repeated notes have to be very rhythmic, but try not to shout them.
Just make all the words as clear as you can, so whoever's listening is sure to get the message.
We'll be back next week. Till then, keep singing together. Bye.
Bye.
Communication, communication.
Way back long ago, men sent messages beating out rhythms on drums
semaphore signals, then Morse code and emergency flares to call help fast. Trying to get a message through to you. Trying to get a message through. Trying to get a message through to you. Are you listening? Communication. Communication. New technology helps us communicate. Messages travel at the speed of light. TV, radio, teletext, car phone carry ideas in sounds and sight. Trying to get a message through to you. Trying to get a message through. Trying to get a message through to you. Are you listening?
Hello.
Hi, we're back again, and we start with some storytelling.
Once upon a time, in a distant land, lived a very poor man. One bitterly cold day in winter, he set out into the wood in search of fuel. He was cold and hungry, but he had to find firewood.
We're on page 22 for Winter Tales. Let's tell that story again by singing verse 1. Follow the introduction first, and I'll count you in.
Tell me the tale of the wandering man who searched for fuel in a wintry wood, and the ice and the hunger made him bleed. Tell me the tale of the wandering man who met a saint in time of need. Tell me the tale as we sit by the fire and watch the flames on a dark December night.
Cold winter tales, draw near to the Yule log for the old winter tales. You can tell stories in lots of ways. This one's quite different from the usual version of Good King Wenceslas. Why not choose another well-known tale and retell it? Don't make it too obvious, and then see if other people recognise it.
We'll learn verse 2 now, which has a different story. Look at the words.
Tell me the tale of the wandering kings who followed a trail to a mystery child, 3 silhouettes on the moon-white sands.
Tell me a tale of the wandering kings on camelback in foreign lands.
And after that, it's the same as verse 1. Here's how it fits the music.
Tell me the tale of the wandering kings who followed a trail to a mystery child. 3 silhouettes on the moon-white sands. Tell me a tale of the wandering kings on camelback in foreign lands.
Have a go at singing the whole of verse 2. Ready? 3, 4.
Tell me the tale of the wandering kings who followed a trail to a mystery child. 3 silhouettes on the moon-white sands. Tell me a tale of the wandering kings on camelback
noticed we were singing in 2 parts from Old Winter Tales. The extra part's on that top stave in orange, and it's lower than the tune there. Follow it now without singing from bar 23. Old winter tales, cold winter tales, draw near to the Yule log for the old winter tales.
Try it with us this time. Here's your first note. 3, 4.
Old winter tales, cold winter tales, draw near to the Yule log for the old winter tales.
We'll sing verse 2 all through again. Decide which part you're going to sing from bar 23, the main tune with me,
Or the new tune with me. First, the introduction.
Tell me the tale of the wandering kings who followed a trail to a mystery shore. 3 silhouettes on the moonlight sands. Tell me the tale of the wandering kings on camelback in foreign lands. Tell me the tale as we sit by the fire and watch the flames on a dark December night. Old winter tales, cold winter tales, draw near to the Yule log for the old winter tales.
Before our next song, turn to the middle of your booklet, pages 14 and 15. If you've tried some of the games in earlier programmes, you've already been making up your own music. These pages show you how to make up some more about a Christmas tree.
You start at the bottom of page 15 with the trunk, and then you work your way up and add music for the branches, the needles, and so on.
When you've finished your piece, you can record it, and do send us a copy. We want to put some of your music in the programmes for the summer term.
Right, page 26 now for a new song. Children, Go Where I Send Thee.
Follow through from the beginning, and when you get to bar 18, make sure you look at the lower stave, the blue one.
Children, go where I send thee. How shall I send thee? I'm going to send thee one by one, one for the little bitty baby, wrapped in swaddling clothing, lying in a manger. He was born, born, born in Bethlehem.
Here's the beginning again.
Children, go where I send thee. How shall I send thee?
You sing it now. 1, 2, 1.
Children, go where I send thee. How shall I send thee?
Then we sing,
I'm going to send thee one by one.
and that little tune is repeated to different words. Listen from bar 9 and count how many times we sing it.
I'm going to send thee one by one, one for the little bitty baby, wrapped in swaddling clothing, lying in a manger.
The rhythm changes with the new words, but we sang the same shape 4 times. You try from bar 9. 1, 2.
I'm going to send thee one by one, one for the little bitty baby, wrapped in swaddling clothing, lying in a manger.
The verse ends with a smoother phrase.
He was born, born, born in Bethlehem.
Your turn. Remember to keep on the blue stave. 1, 2. He was born, born,
OK, back to the beginning to sing the whole verse. 1, 2, 1.
Children, go where I send thee. How shall I send thee? I'm gonna send thee one by one for the little bitty baby, wrapped in swaddling clothing, lying in a manger. He was born in Bethlehem.
In this song, we keep adding bars for each verse, a bit like Old MacDonald Had a Farm. So verse 2 goes...
I'm gonna send thee 2 by 2 for Paul and Silas, 1 for the little bitty baby, wrapped in swaddling clothing.
And so on.
Listen to the rhythm of those new words in verse 2 and then repeat them. And we'll do the same after that with verse 3.
2 for Paul and Silas.
2 for Paul and Silas.
3 for the Hebrew children.
3 for the Hebrew children.
In all those phrases, there's a rest, a silence at the beginning of the second bar, just like there was in Whip Jamboree. Here they're crotchet rests, shown by those squiggles. They make the rhythm syncopated.
Let's sing the first 3 verses now. At the end of each verse, you have to go straight on to Children Go for the next verse without waiting for an introduction.
Children, go where I send thee. How shall I send thee? I'm going to send thee 1 by 1 for the little bitty baby, wrapped in swaddling clothing, lying in a manger. He was born in Bethlehem. Children, go where I send thee. How shall I send thee? I'm going to send thee 2 by 2 for Paul and Silas, 1 for the little bitty baby, wrapped in swaddling clothing, lying in a manger. He was born in Bethlehem. Children, go where I send thee. How shall I send thee? I'm going to send thee 3 by 3 for the Hebrew children, 2 for Paul and Silas, 1 for the little bitty baby, wrapped in swaddling clothing, lying in a manger. He was born in Bethlehem. Oh, yeah!
Now turn to page 20 for another new song called What Child Is This? You might know the tune already. Listen to verse 1 and the chorus.
What child is this who lay to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping, who angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping? This is Christ the King, who shepherds guard and angels sing. Joy, joy, for Christ is born, the babe, the Son of Mary.
The tune's Greensleeves, but these words were added much later to turn it into a carol.
We're going to sing a Follow My Leader now. If you know the tune already, you'll have to listen extra carefully to make sure you sing this version. We'll do 4 bars at a time, and then you copy. Ready to listen first? What child is this who laid to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping?
What child is this who lay to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping?
Whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds
You might know the beginning of the tune differently. We sing, "What child is this who..." Be careful to go right up in bar 3. This who...
Let's put it all together. 1, 2.
What child is this who laid to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping? Who mangers reach with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are weeping? This is Christ the King, whom shepherds dawn and angels sing. Joy, joy, for Christ is born, the babe, the Son of Mary.
Try it again, straight away.
And this time, some of our singers will add a descant.
1, 2.
What child is this who lays to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping? Who angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are weeping? This is Christ the King, whom shepherds dawn and angels sing. Joy, joy, for Christ is born, the babe, the Son of Mary.
Now it's time to move on again.
It's Sleigh Bells on page 18. To remind you how the tune goes, here's a memory game. You have to listen to parts of the tune and then say which bars they are.
Or, if you like, which words they fit. Here's the first one. Listen again.
That one was bars 11 to 12. Horses are trotting and the... What about this one? Here it is again.
That was quite easy, but there are 2 answers. It was bars 7 and 8, or bars 9 and 10. Frost in the air, or snow on the ground.
And what about the instrument? Do you recognise it?
It was a xylophone with wooden bars.
You learnt verses 1 and 2 last time, so find bar 19 now and listen to verse 3, following the top line up to bar 27.
Swiftly we glide over the snow, singing our song together, laughing as we go.
Now you sing it. 1, 2.
Swiftly we glide over the snow, singing our song together, laughing as we go.
Right, we're going to finish by singing the whole song. In verse 3, you'll hear both parts.
And we'll add the ending too. So after bar 27, just listen.
Frost in the air, snow on the ground, horses are trotting and the jingling sleigh bells sound. Covering the fields, carpets of white, sun in the wintry skies, shining clear and bright. Swiftly we glide over the snow, singing our song together.
I hope that introduction sent you straight to page 26 to find Children Go Where I Send Thee. Page 26.
We'll start by reminding ourselves of verse 1 after the introduction. Children, go where I send thee. How shall I send thee? I'm gonna send thee one by one, one for the little bitty baby wrapped in swaddling clothing, lying in a manger. He was born in Bethlehem.
Well, we sang the first 3 verses last week, so now we'll look at the new words on page 27, starting with verse 10 and working down to verse 4.
Repeat each new phrase after me. 10 for the 10 commandments.
10 for the 10 commandments.
9 for the 9 that dressed so fine.
9 for the 9 that dressed so fine.
8 for the 8 that stood at the gate.
8 for the 8 that stood at the gate.
7 for the 7 that went up to heaven.
7 for the 7 that went up to heaven.
6 for the 6 that never got fixed.
6 for the 6 that never got fixed.
5 for the 5 who came back alive.
5 for the 5 who came back alive.
4 for the 4 who stood at the door.
4 for the 4 who stood at the door.
This song has a special ending for the last verse, which goes like this.
He was born in Bethlehem. Oh, yes.
So you have to jump from bar 17 to bar 21 on the bottom line. You try it now from He was born. Here's the note. He. 1, 2.
He was born in Bethlehem. Oh, yes.
Well, we haven't got time for the whole song today, so we'll sing from verse 7 to the end.
You could try dividing into groups at the beginning of each verse. Children, go where I send thee.
How shall I send thee?
Are you ready for verse 7?
Children, go where I send thee.
How shall I send thee?
I'm gonna send thee 7 by 7. 7 for the 7 that went up to heaven. 6 for the 6 that never got fixed. 5 for the 5 who came back alive. 4 for the 4 who stood at the door. 3 for the Hebrew children. 2 for Paul and Silas. 1 for the little bitty baby wrapped in swaddling clothing, lying in a manger. He was born in Bethlehem. Children, go where I send thee.
How shall I send thee?
I'm gonna send thee 8 by 8. 8 for the 8 that stood at the gate. 7 for the 7 that went up to heaven. 6 for the 6 that never got fixed. 5 for the 5 who came back alive. 4 for the 4 who stood at the door. 3 for the Hebrew children. 2 for Paul and Silas. 1 for the little bitty baby wrapped in swaddling clothing, lying in a manger. He was born in Bethlehem. Children, go where I send thee.
How shall I send thee?
I'm gonna send thee 9 by 9. 9 for the 9 that dressed so fine. 8 for the 8 that stood at the gate. 7 for the 7 that went up to heaven. 6 for the 6 that never got fixed. 5 for the 5 who came back alive. 4 for the 4 who stood at the door. 3 for the Hebrew children. 2 for Paul and Silas. 1 for the little bitty baby wrapped in swaddling clothing, lying in a manger. He was born in Bethlehem. Children, go where I send thee.
How shall I send thee?
I'm gonna send thee 10 by 10. 10 for the 10 commandments. 9 for the 9 that dressed so fine. 8 for the 8 that stood at the gate. 7 for the 7 that went up to heaven. 6 for the 6 that never got fixed. 5 for the 5 who came back alive. 4 for the 4 who stood at the door. 3 for the Hebrew children. 2 for Paul and Silas. 1 for the little bitty baby wrapped in swaddling clothing, lying in a manger. He was born in Bethlehem. Oh, yeah. And next week we'll be singing the whole of that song.
I wonder how you're getting on with your Christmas tree music. Don't forget to send us a recording when you've finished and mark it clearly with your names and the name and address of your school. And of course we also want your votes for favourite songs ready for the request programme. And why not let us know what you think of the programmes at the same time?
Now turn back to page 25 for Balulami, and we'll sing verse 1.
The Balulami at the end is like an echo, and you can sing it very gently as this is a lullaby. Some of you can sing the lower part there. Listen. Try it with us. 1, 2.
I wonder if you've noticed this instrument playing. Do you recognise it?
It's an oboe. If ever you hear an orchestra tuning up, you'll hear the oboe giving the first note, and all the instruments tune to that.
That's because it's the most difficult instrument to tune. Well, this song's quite hard to sing in tune, so try not to let the pitch sag, especially at the end. It'll help if you sit up straight and breathe properly.
Look at verse 2 now. The words fit the music just the same as verse 1. Sing it very quietly with us so you can listen as well, and then we'll repeat it straight away.
This time, sing out.
And now shall Mary's little boy forever be our hope and joy. Eternal peace, His reign on earth. Rejoice then, all people, for His holy birth. Balulami.
And now for a song that we learnt earlier in the term.
987654321.
That didn't sound right. We must be back on page 12 with wrong number. We'll start with verse 3 and the chorus.
You're lying in on Sunday, it's a really well-earned rest, when suddenly from nowhere comes the noise that you detest. Your slippers can't be found and you spill your morning tea. You struggle to the phone and say,
409627913. Wrong number, you really should have known. They're phoning Bill or Uncle Phil, phoning Joe or Auntie Flo on your telephone.
We can sing the whole song now. Keep it bouncing along and try to make the mood of each verse suit the story. Ready?
You're helping with the shopping and you couldn't carry
dear. You'd better answer it, John.
Hello, singing together.
Hello, can I order some mince pies, please?
Mince pies?
Yes, they're on page 24.
Right. I'll see what I can do. An order for mince pies on page 24.
We'd better learn it then.
Here's a follow my leader. Listen to each phrase and then copy it. Mince pies, steaming hot and spicy.
Mince pies, steaming hot and spicy.
Half as many hot mince pies are only half as nicey.
Half as many hot mince pies are only half as nicey.
Bring on some more mince pies.
Bring on some more mince pies.
Now we'll put the whole tune together. Ready? 1, 2.
Mince pies, steaming hot and spicy. Half as many hot mince pies are only half as nicey. Bring on some more mince pies.
Mustn't have too many mince pies, though. So on to the next song. Turn to page 22 for Winter Tales.
That instrument sounded very similar to an oboe, but it was actually a cor anglais, a sort of large oboe which sounds lower.
Before we sing this song all through, we're going to look at the descant. So find bar 14 and follow the top line carefully without singing.
We'll sing from bar 14 again, right to the end of the verse. You can try the descant.
Or you can sing the main tune with me. 3, 4. Tell me a tale of a wandering man who met a saint in time of need. Tell me the tale as we sit by the fire and watch the flames on a dark December night. Old winter tales, cold winter tales, draw near to the Yule log for the old winter tales. We'll perform Winter Tales all through now, so up on your feet. If you're going to sing in parts, make sure you're standing with your group. And keep listening to each other.
And listen carefully to the introduction and the coda at the end. They set the mood. Are you ready?
Tell me the tale of the wandering man who searched for fuel in a wintry wood.
down again quickly and quietly. That's nearly it for this week. Don't forget the votes and the tapes.
But we'll leave you the mince pies.
Bye.
Bye.